All right, in this video, I'm going to be covering the 3 scenarios after the close that could happen. So if you think of like 3 scenarios, there's one scenario is the best case scenario. The second one is the not as good as the better scenario. Best, better, and good. Even though it's an objection. So, all right, so I'm going to go through this. The first best case scenario would be that they just close. You say, so we do installations on weekdays, weekends. What works best for you, weekday or weekend? And they're like, yeah, pretty much any day works. That's awesome. Okay, a lot of deals will be closed that way. The second scenario is the better scenario, I guess, is going to be where they're going to ask you a question to some capacity. They're going to ask you a closing question, or they're going to ask you what I call a quality question. A closing question is something like this. They're going to say, so how long is this good for? Are they going to say, am I going to get ESPN in this package? Or, how are they going to run the fiber line? Whatever. All those are good questions about what I call future talk. They're talking about having the product, in the future. Okay. Another scenario is they could ask you a question about consider quality or whatnot. They say, well, how do I know this is that good? Because I had AT&T before. Okay, you had AT&T before? Yeah, and I had it, and I really didn't like it. That's a quality question. See, that a statement based off of that they've had it before, or they know someone that's had it before. Okay? What you want to do in that situation is you want to do what we call isolating. Okay, isolated based off time and location. Okay? So let's just say the customer says, I had AT&T before and I didn't like it. Okay, cool. Was that here? No, it wasn't here. I'm like, cool. Where was it? Oh, it was in XYZ city. Okay. Listen, I don't know what they had then. And how long ago was that? 4 years ago. Yeah, I don't know what they had at that location then. But what I do know is you guys qualify for fiber here. Okay, let me show you right here on my iPad. I show them on the iPad where it serves. So you actually qualify for the fastest available internet in your area. And a lot of your neighbors already have it out here. We've already helped out a lot of people out here. Okay. So, and then I'm going to continue on. Okay. Now, if isolating is so important to find out where it was and how long ago it was, isolate the situation and continue on. The third scenario is if you want to think of as your worst case scenario, is they're going to give you what I call a doubt statement. Different than a quality question. Questions are closing signs. They're going to say something like, hey, can you just leave me a card? That's not a real question. That's a blow off question. Okay, can you leave me a card? I don't know if I want to make any decisions right now. We're pretty happy the way we're set up. We don't really want to change anything. But they've sat out there and talked to you the whole time, and you're saving them a lot of money. There's something else holding them back. Okay, so my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, cool. So yeah, no big deal. What kind of questions do you have? Not do you have a question? I'm going to say, what kind of questions do you have? See, so what kind of questions do you have? One or two things are going to happen here. They're going to give you a question, which then you're going to be in the second scenario. Remember, they close, they ask you a question, they give you a doubt statement. By asking them what kind of questions you have, it's going to put them back into scenario 2, which is good. Okay? So what kind of questions do you have? They ask a question, you're back in scenario 2. Okay? If they don't ask you a question, say, no, I don't have any questions, you did a good job. What we're going to do in this scenario is we're going to do what we call recap, dip, close. We're going to recap. We're going to go, let's go back through this again, okay? And we're going to use the phrase you said. You said earlier that blah. You said earlier that you have this. You said earlier that DVR is important to you. You said earlier that having sports channel is important to you. We're going to go back through all those things and hit on those high notes and assume that they didn't understand something we said, or we didn't do a good job painting the picture the first time. Sometimes people just need to hear it again. Okay? And again, if you're not that confident in your product, you're just going to, take off and go to the next customer. But we are confident that this product is going to be a good product for this customer. Okay? So we're going to recap, dip, close. So we're going to recap it, dip, close. Let me talk to you about the dip technique. Okay, the dip technique is a very, really good technique to sell. Okay, so a lot of customers, think that we're going to rip the wires out of their house and, do the installation that day. They think that they can't have any downtime. No one can have any downtime. No one wants downtime on the internet. Okay, So this is what the dip technique, it lowers the action threshold of the customer actually doing something. Okay. So this is how the dip technique works. Okay. So listen, you don't have to change anything. That's the D. And you're going to repeat yourself multiple times. You just repeat yourself different ways. You don't have to change anything. Everything's actually going to stay the same. Nothing changes. I said don't change it 3 different ways. You don't have to change anything. Everything's going to stay the same. Nothing changes. Okay? As far as your installation goes, it's hassle-free. Okay? What that means is we're going to have a trained technician from AT&T come in here and hook your internet up. You're actually going to keep your Comcast services set up this whole time. You're going to have your AT&T internet up and running. Once everything's up and running, that's when you can end your services with Comcast, and you'll be with AT&T, and you'll have no downtime whatsoever. Okay? So as far as your payment goes, you're usually having to pay that $199, but we're going to waive that charge for you. You're going to pay that activation fee and that one-time box fee on the taxes for that box is $40. But since I'm out here today, like I said earlier, I'm going to kick you a blank Visa gift card to take care of that. Cool? All right? So like I said, we do installations on weekdays, weekends. What works best for you, a weekday or weekend? I'm going to close again. The dip technique is a good technique to use when you don't know where you're going to go. If you're like we call no man's land, where you'd like to use every opportunity, the dip technique, if I'm ever in the field, I'm like, what should I do? I'm like, I know this customer signed up. I'm going to use dip. So I'm going to go through that one more time. So you don't have to change anything. Everything's going to stay the same. Nothing changes. Okay? Nothing changes. As far as your installation goes, it's hassle-free. You're actually going to have a trained technician come in from AT&T, hook all your internet up, get everything up and running. Once everything's up and running with AT&T, you then can cancel your service with Comcast, and you'll be up and running with AT&T. Okay, so as far as the payment goes, it's usually $199, but since we're out here today, we're going to waive that charge for you. The activation fee and the one-time fee on the box is going to be $40 total, but I'm going to kick you $200 Visa gift card to take care of that. Okay? All right, that's it. Thank you.